All right, so I hope Danny Ainge's doing okay because this man has to be off his rocker to think any of these trades are doable.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys. Spoiler alert. Lauri, I kind of don't care anymore. I don't even want it to happen. But we got a little bit of news, and I actually have heard this myself as well. But we have Zach Lowe, and he gave his thoughts on the whole Lauri situation. Between, obviously, we knew that the San Antonio Spurs were involved in talks, Kings were involved in talks, Heat was involved in talks. But this is just this is just silly. This is just out of hand at this point. Now, before we talk about that, guys, please go support Spurs Invasion. Link below underneath this video in the description box. Just head on over there, subscribe, help out that channel. This is a channel which I do scripted and edited content. I am working on a video as we speak on Jeremy Sohan. So yeah, go show this channel some support, man. I really do appreciate all the love. Nonetheless. All right, so we'll start with this. Okay, so this is Zach Lowe's.
I feel like,
oh my goodness, this is Zach Lowe's thoughts on what the Spurs would have to give up in order to get Lauri Markannen. So let's go ahead and listen.
there's part of I bet it's a debate within the Spurs front office. I wonder the degree to which they've now made these transactions for CP and Harrison Barnes, gotten the draft equity that they got, and are sort of like, all right, let's just see like what this team looks like when we get it all together, versus let's make another big splashy move. And I've said this before, like I can see the Markkanen Spurs negotiation, should they ever happen, made or broken on Devin Vassell. Like I if I'm Utah, like I need that guy both for my team and if I want to trade him down the line. He's a good player on a good contract now.
There's no reality in which I would trade Devin Vassell. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Vassell. I would never trade Devin Vassell for Lauri Markanen. I don't think, especially at this point in his career, he's still fairly young, nowhere near his prime. Contract is beautiful. He's shown to be a really good running mate next to Wemby. I see no reason at all to make that happen. I've been adamant that I wouldn't do it with Sohan either, but Devin Vassell, I definitely wouldn't.
Now, and if I'm the Spurs, I'm like, man, that's like central casting dude I want around Wembanyama. Like, I don't know if we're ready to do all of that for Lauri Markkanen. So I could see it breaking down there, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, the one thing that has been pointed out to me by people around the league is Markkanen's trade value might be highest if you get the extension done with him first. And like you said, the extension date is August 6th. You know, as Mark Stein, I believe, was the first to point out, if he signs that extension, he
gotta wait. You gotta wait like 6 more months, right?
He's not eligible to be traded until February 6th, which is the trade deadline. Now, obviously, you can have the negotiations in place. You know, you can have those discussions. It's not like you can't talk about a Markkanen trade until, oh, it's February 6th. Now we can start discussions. You know, you can have those discussions. He might, you know, get a sore back in late January, early February, whatever the case may be. But, and you know, this goes back to you saying, well, hey, Markkanen wants to be in Utah. I would strongly recommend to Lauri, if there are extensions, you get every single dollar that you can, because taking less probably increases the odds, if anything, of you being moved.
Well, and this is why, even if he had any interest in pushing for a trade now, and I've not ever been told that he does, this is why he wouldn't, because he can sit here and wait and be like, all right, it's August 6th, like we've agreed on this, give me the money, and then figure it out later.
Yeah, but if they don't figure out the money until August 7th, he can't be traded this year.
Now, guys, it gets worse. So you just heard here, and I actually also have heard this Devin Vassell being part of the deal has been around, right? So I do think there's a lot of truth to that. But with that being said, if you didn't think that was bad enough, this one will really drive you crazy. All right, so Devin Vassell, I wouldn't give him up. Okay, this isn't me just being some homer. This isn't me just, you know, overvaluing my guys. You know, I know that I've told you guys, like, I wouldn't give up Sohan because of the how much promise he has, because of the defense, because of how young he is. It's the same thing with Devin Vassell. I just don't think that that's a good idea. But it's not me being a homer. I truly just think that will be a very silly trade. And if that's what it comes down to, no thank you. I'm good. Let's go ahead and take our chances into next season. But this right here, this clip, this is where I'm like, yeah, the Jazz have absolutely lost it. They have lost the plot.
Most engaged team for Markanen in recent weeks. League sources tell The Athletic they have discussed a proposal around Moses Moody, multiple first-round picks, multiple pick swaps, and multiple second-round picks. The Jazz, however, have asked for the bulk of young talent and capital the Warriors possess, including Moody, Kuminga, and Podziemski, along with picks, which has been a non-starter thus far for Golden State, league sources said. Now, that's kind of common sense. The Warriors are like, here's one offer. The Jazz are like, how about everything? How about all of it? And obviously, if you're ever going to make a deal, you're going to land in a middle ground. And let's say the middle ground. Let's say, and I'm not saying Utah.
I think even the middle ground is too much.
Whatever seed all the way here. But let's say the middle ground ends up being the picks, salary filler, and one of Kuminga and Podziemski. You can pick whatever one. To me, they're very different players stylistically and sort of ceiling wise. But if that's the price, is that worth it for the Warriors? Should they?
No, it's not. I think the Jazz have absolutely lost it. I don't know what's going on. I know that they have a history, or their GM has a history of doing things like this, but that's just way too much, guys. There's no way in the world I would give up one of our key players, okay? And I know some people disagree with me when I say, big three, which, obviously, it doesn't have to be three. You can have a big four, you can have a big five. It doesn't really matter. But right now, as essential pieces to the San Antonio Spurs, it is Jeremy Sohan, it is Wembanyama, and it is Devin Vassell. And I know that people will disrespect us, okay? I know we're going to get disrespected. I mean, obviously, hold on. Let me show you guys a clip. I'm going to have to go all the way down my thread here. Hold on. God dang, this is taking a long time. I didn't realize this was going to take this long. Do I post this often? I did not realize I posted this often. Here we go. Yeah, this, utterly disrespectful, okay? It's absolutely disrespectful. Not only are some of the numbers off, like Stephon Castle having 4, but then they took the 10 off of Sohan and they put in Harrison Barnes. Like, Sohan is even a part of this equation, and he is part of the big three. So we're going to constantly get disrespected. I get it. But at the end of the day, I think you don't really touch our big three. I think there's too much promise there. I mean, obviously you don't touch Wemby, but I think there's too much promise with Devin Vassell and Sohan. I wouldn't touch them. If you're gonna make a trade, you need to use Keldon or possibly Malachi if you want. But I'm just not touching those three. That's just me. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of this. I really do believe like the Lauri situation and that trade, it should just be gone. It's if that's what they're asking for, there's no point. I don't care anymore. I don't want them. We're good. And I feel like the Spurs have made just about all of the moves that they were going to make anyway. So anyways, I'll give it to you guys later, man. Until next time, bye.